of the universe,
Allah, the Father of the universe,
Father of love,
Father of love,
truth,
peace,
freedom,
freedom,
and justice.
and justice.
Allah is my protector,
Allah is my protector,
my guide, and my salvation, by night, and by day, through his holy prophet, through Ali. Amen.
Amen.
All remain standing, please. I give praise to Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of us all. I give honor to the noble prophet, through Ali, founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I give honor to our past leaders of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Brother C. Curtin Bay, Brother F. Nelson Bay, J. Blakely Bay, with all of you. I give honor to our present Grand Sheikh and moderator and leader, Brother R. Jones Bay. I give honor to all our elected officials. I give honor to all things the Prophet brought for the uplifting of fallen humanity. Thank you, peace. Salvation of God unity. Moorish Science Temple of America, Divine Constitution, and Bible. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Assistant Grand Sheikh and two Assistant Grand Sheikh in all affairs. If he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is a holy day of rest because on Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended to his Father God, Allah. And then, of course, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No members to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister is allowed. It's love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government. Because by being a Moorish American, you are part and parcel of the government. You must live the life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow laws and constitution of said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. We are teaching our people their nationality and the divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and a parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colorfuls, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779. It lasted from 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now. All men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government which they live in, as the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained noble through Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are descendants of the ancient Moabites, who inhabited northwestern, the southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings to become a part and a partial of all of the acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members will take their dues and keep in line with their own necessities with the Moorish Science Temple of America, and you are entitled to them. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children. Look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother, be industrious, and be part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans will keep their hearts and minds pure of love, and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant from the holy prophet, from Ali, through the guidance of his Father God, Allah. Over to Allah found in Moorish American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. God is my protector, my guide, and my salvation. By night and by day, through his holy prophet, through Ali, Amen, All Science Temple of America. Home office 2905 5th Street Southeast, Washington, D.C. 20032. Questionnaire, an additional from motion read by the prophet known to Ali, Act 1. Grand sheikhs and governors of heads of all temples, all businesses. Each said temple must be approved by the prophet known to Ali. For acting upon any members, they be fined as property or any line of life that will cause members to sacrifice finance, etc., that will cause support of any group of members. Any form of order that violates his law is subject to remove from his office under heavy restriction, etc., by the prophet for the grand sheikh. Act 2. All members are to attend their added meetings and their public meetings properly. The members found standing around in the meeting period shall be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second, you will find $1, which will go on your emergency fund. If members working, his monthly dues must be paid. And if he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to the moral ability for his finance to uplift the nation. Act 3. It is lawfully divine duty of every good member. If he is able to finance to aid in saving the nation. And if he does not, he is an enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people and justice must take. Let it be he or she according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. As I have the power invested in my hands, and I will have to enforce the law in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members, while making a public speech, must not use any assertion against the American flag, if we rather against the church, or any member of any organized group, because we ought to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school, and the teacher must confirm themselves to the questionnaire. And let every member exercise his 5 senses as soon as they will do so, because out from the Sunday school comes the guidance of the nation. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. We are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and partial of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779, lasted from 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and women now must proclaim the free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of evil, has ordained noble Jew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Most Americans are descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited northwestern, the southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a parcel of all the living acts of the Moral Science Temple. Members pay their dues to keep in line with all necessities of the Moral Science Temple. Then you are entitled to the name of faith. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children. Look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother, be industrious, and become a part of the uplifting and full humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love, and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant from their holy prophet, known to Ali, through the guidance of his father, God, Allah. We'll read brief from the Holy Koran. I'm going to read from it's chapter 9, which is on page 14. Jesus intended the priest of Yahweh to hear he taught human equality. The fame of Jesus as a teacher spread through all the land. And people came from near and far to hear his words of truth. At Yah, on the sacred river of the Brahms, he taught for many days. A wealthy man of Yah made a feast in his honor. He made a feast in his honor of his guests, and he invited everyone to come. And many came, among them thieves, extortioners, and courtiers, and Jesus sat with them and taught. But they all followed him, were much aggrieved because he sat with thieves and be ready for Sunday school. Hopefully, we'll have a good one. It's on us. So that you can exercise your five senses, and that we can get a better understanding of teaching of the Bible. At which time we're going to have our Sunday school instructor for R. Jones Bay, to make sure you more science of America and moderator for our Sunday school instructor. It will be up on the trail.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
sir.
Let's say a prayer. Allow
Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allow is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Joel. Amen.
praise the Lord. Islam to you all.
Islam.
That's good. Let's give it praise to Allah. To the last prophet. Honor to the last prophet. In what?
In these days,
These days. The last prophet in these days is who? When?
1913 AD.
Where?
New Jersey.
Who sent it?
Allah.
What is he to Allah? And what is a prophet?
Prophet is the Lord of Allah manifested in flesh.
So we're saying that Prophet Noble Dwali is Allah's what? Yes, his thought. His divine thought. Who is, was, and evermore will be. How can you qualify that statement? Who is, was, and evermore to be. How can you qualify a thought of Allah by who is, was, and evermore to be? How can you defend that? How could you defend Prophet Noah? Come on, Mo.
Do his duty.
Do his duty. Okay. All right. What you gonna say, Tom? Start with you.
Praise the Lord, my prophet. He brought the everlasting gospel.
He brought the everlasting gospel. No question. What else? How can you qualify it? Come on, Mo.
You only can experience it if you come into the knowledge and understanding.
How can you qualify it?
Following his footsteps.
Following in his footsteps. Okay. All right. How can you qualify it? How can you substantiate the prophet is, was, and evermore to be? And he's a thought of Allah. How can you qualify that? How can you defend that? Come on.
The message.
Okay, the message. Okay.
Connection with the message that he brought.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
He was divine prophet.
Okay. Who is, was, and evermore to be. What about Allah's thoughts? They what?
And from the everlasting past.
To the never in the days to come. But more importantly, they're what?
Divine.
Spirit.
They are spirit. They are divine. But they never what?
Change.
Change.
Yes,
They never change.
yes, yes.
He is, he was, he evermore to be. Why? Because it never changes. What never changes?
True.
Allah's thought.
True.
Oh,
It never changes.
no. Message.
And the thought of Allah cannot what?
Be circumscribed.
And it cannot what? Die. So that means that a thought that is a prophet has been here for how many times? Who knows? Because the thought never changes. What changes? The illusion. That's right. What changes? The body. What changes? The name. but the thought is the same. The name Jesus and Prophet Noble Drew is really synonymous because they're one and the same. The name Noble Drew and Prophet Muhammad, it doesn't change because it's one and the same. A prophet is not many thoughts, but a thought. A thought that manifests many times. Because the thought can't die. Once Allah say be, it is. What is it? A prophet. It's a prophet. That's his thought. That's what you can rely on. That's what you can say, that doesn't change. If I do this, then since it is a thought of God, then the result must be this. But how would I know that unless I do this? If you don't do this, how will you know that? Because it's all about this and that. One or the other. So that's where we're at. You're going to have to defend the thought. How do you protect the prophet in the temple? How do you protect the prophet in the temple? Prophet don't need no gorillas. He don't need no intimidators. He don't need nobody to defend him from the physical point of view. What does he need? Imitators.
Yes.
He needs someone to imitate it.
Yes.
Not talk it, but walk it. That's how you protect the prophet in the temple. What are you protecting? What are you protecting when you protect the prophet in the temple? He told you in that statement. What are you protecting when you protect the prophet in the temple? What are you protecting? The thought. You are in defense of the thought. You're here to protect the thought. You can only protect the thought if you what?
Accept the thought.
Accept the thought. And what the thought? Practice the thought. And be what? Become the thought. Now I can see you. I can see you. I can see what you're trying to do. Because the thought is made manifest in you. Now that does not make you a what? Prophet. But it sure makes you an imitator of one. And I would love just to be able to imitate the thought of Allah made manifest. Just an imitator. What does an imitator mean? What is an imitator?
Pretender.
Be somebody like someone else.
Huh?
Be like someone else.
To be like someone else. Okay, I take that. What is that? What is an imitator? What else is an imitator? Well, okay, all right. In certain circles, that has been known to be used as one who imitates. What else is an imitator?
A pretender.
A pretender. But do we want to pretend?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's a good point. But do we really want to pretend to be what we're not? Come on, Sister Potter Bay.
I was looking at the definition.
Yes.
And it says, to follow as a pattern, model, or example,
Praise the Lord.
to imitate his father's booming board. That's it, that's all I have right
Let's go with
now. The first one.
yeah,
To
follow
follow as a pattern,
Yeah,
model,
yeah.
or example.
example. But see, the question is, do you have courage to be an example? Are you willing to do what it takes to be an example? Because if you're going to be an example, if you're going to imitate the prophet, you know what they said about the prophet? The prophet never fought back. That means you're not going to be able to fight back. If you imitate, you're going to have to be what? Humble. And you're going to have to learn to do what? Take something. Take something. And you're going to have to learn to do what? Submit. More. Come on now. And you're going to have to learn to do what else?
Be obedient.
Be obedient. That's the picture. You're gonna have to be patient. That's the picture. Now look, we're not saying you can't protect yourself. Because the prophet told us what to do about that too. But until you get to that point, you got to be all those things that have just been mentioned before you turn around and drop the world around. Make sure before you make that turn to drop that word on them, make sure you've done everything you can to imitate the thought of God. Come on.
This whole scenario of the prophet is a process that man must take. And I don't feel that even though you come into the understanding and knowledge, you could turn past the priest overnight. You understand? So I would say this whole scenario is a process because we are so contaminated with the lower self of his thoughts that would be a process to clear up. So I think if you just understand and getting this knowledge within that would change the form of this person.
Who made you?
Allah.
Who is Allah?
Allah is the Father of the universe.
Can we see it?
No.
Where's the nearest place we can meet it?
No.
Who is Noble Juali?
He is the last prophet.
What is a prophet?
Prophet is follow the law and invest in Christ.
What is the duty of a prophet?
To save nations from the wrath of the law.
Who is the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America?
Noble Juali.
What year was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded?
1913 AD.
Where?
Newark, New Jersey.
Where was Noble Juali born?
In the state of North Carolina, 1886.
What is his nationality?
Moorish
What is
American.
your nationality?
Moorish American.
Why are we Moorish American?
Because we are descendants of our aunts and born in America.
For what purpose was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded?
For the uplifting the fallen humanity.
How did the prophet begin to uplift the Moorish Americans?
By teaching them to be themselves.
What is our religion?
Islamism.
Is that a new or is that the old time religion?
Old time religion.
What kind of a flag is the Moorish?
Red flag with a 5 on the green star.
What do the 5 points represent?
Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
How old is our flag?
It is over 10,000 years old.
Which is our holy day?
Friday.
Okay. Do you know that what we're doing is incorporating into our thinking thoughts? We're incorporating into our thinking thoughts. Look, the thinking comes from the thought. So you're incorporating your thinking into the thought. Or from the thought becomes your thinking. So you grab the thought. What is the first thought? Who made you? What is the thinking on this? Allah. So what happens now? Something is triggered. You start to, if you are in a contemplative mood, you start to try to determine what is the relationship with Allah and me being made. What is the relationship between Allah and me being made? When it's told to me, whatever has been made will be unmade. Now we're talking about, wait a minute, that sounds, but anything Allah has made is from the everlasting of the past until the never days to come. So now here comes the thought process. From the thought, we start to think. You see? Now without divine instruction, we don't know what to think about. We got to have some kind of instructions to guide and direct us as we start to think these thoughts. So that, what does that mean? You got to study. If you're not going to study, you ain't going to get it. And study is just not confined to reading. When you study, you must be a practitioner of what you're studying.
Come on now.
Because if you don't practice, you should not preach.
Watch. Listen.
What you got to say? And you ain't practicing. What can you really tell somebody? You can sound intelligent to the unintelligent. But to the intelligent, you sound ridiculous. Because why? they have put in the time for the purpose of study by way of practice.
You must be what you know.
You must. And be given the gift of the understanding to be able to identify what you're being.
That's right.
I gotta know why I'm being this. Why do I even want to be this? What makes me accept being this? That's the question. What makes you accept being this? You can be anything else. You're a creator. You can create being whoever you choose to be. Come on.
I was thinking when you were saying, imitate the prophet.
Yes.
And imitate the prophet know what you are leading.
Yes.
The prophet say, my sheep know the sound of my
Yes.
voice.
That's what he said. Yes.
So as a follower,
Yes.
a prophet know what you are leading.
Yes.
An imitator,
Yes.
you learn to listen for the sound.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So those that's really in tune with the prophet know what you are leading
Yes.
and imitating the prophet.
Yes.
And listening for the sound of his voice,
Yes.
you can hear it.
Yes. Yes.
And when it's not there, you can hear it.
Yes. 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 It's the sound that gives you inspiration to be.
Mm.
Come on.
And then when you don't hear it, he also gives you instructions on how to deal with it.
There's no question.
See, because sometimes we don't hear it, but then we're ready to try to force someone to know that we don't hear it.
Yeah.
But he said to let us know that we must pity the absurdity
Yeah.
and just listen, and there's a part of wisdom to hear with patience
Yeah.
and just listen.
That's right.
And you don't have to challenge no one or correct no one to say that their thoughts are wrong.
That's right.
You just don't hear it at the time.
No more.
So,
And if you don't hear it, what else happens? You don't follow.
that's right.
You don't follow.
Yes.
Because my sheep know the sound of my voice. A stranger
Stranger will not.
will not follow.
Yeah.
So when you hear it and you don't do it, you're a stranger.
Come on.
And I can't prefer you before my own blood.
Mm.
Because we can't prefer the stranger. Why? Because he does not hear the sound of the shepherd's voice. So if he's not hearing the sound of the shepherd, who's leading him? It ain't for the other. The one who sometimes calls himself God. Come on.
Let's talk about marriage. I was just thinking about the sound.
Yes,
When we come from different places,
yes,
you hear the sound,
yes,
but there's a tune,
yes, yes,
you know, that you might pick up.
yes,
That constitutes the
yes.
sound.
Yes, yes, yes. I tell you, what happens too, we come from all these various ways of life, all of us. You know, we come from all the walks of life. Some was raised here this way, some was raised there that way, some was raised there that way. But the sound remains the same.
That's right.
And you can tell it by the behavior of those who hear the sound. You can tell the difference. Yes,
So that goes back to practicing,
yes,
so you can recognize it.
yes,
Because you can hear the sound, if you don't recognize the right sound,
yes,
then you with the other.
yes,
So practice with sincerity
yes,
helps you recognize the right sound.
yes. Because remember, the sound has a semblance.
Oh.
There is a semblance to the sound.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not familiar with knowing the sound when you hear it, it's easy to fall under the influence of the semblance of it. Yes,
Brother D. Smith Vegas spoke about, I think he said tune
yes,
or tone.
yes. Tone, yeah.
He was thinking more like,
Tone. I think it's tone.
Tone.
Yes, the tone. That's right. Go ahead.
but he was thinking like rhythm
Yes,
and vibration,
yes,
you know, because like in musician,
yes,
in music,
yes,
you know, they have this rhythm.
yes,
And when somebody is out of rhythm,
yes.
they throw the whole thing off.
Sure,
You know,
sure.
same thing with the vibration.
Yes,
You know, It's harmony.
Yes,
And when the vibration is not there, it throws the whole thing off.
yes, 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 yes. Well, you can tell. You can tell. You can tell when it's fitting and when it doesn't fit. Or when it's making an attempt to fit. Yeah, yeah, man.
It seems like, like our thoughts were vibrating the same because he said, Shima Lil said the same thing I was getting ready to say.
Yeah.
It showed like we all in practice. It showed that we all respect.
Yeah,
Praise Allah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So look, today we're talking about Jesus. We're talking about Jesus is in the midst of those who are what? Jesus is in the midst of some who are what?
These cornerstones.
Yeah, but more precisely in this particular event that's taking place during this particular time that we're being privileged to visit. He is in the company of who? Okay, idol worshipers. And also the monk and many of those individuals are what? They're intoxicated. So what does that tell you about Jesus? He goes, that's right. He does not discriminate. He's in the midst of those who are drunk.
Yeah.
On the wine of what?
Carnal things.
He explained himself.
He did not, he don't. That's right.
He explained himself.
That's right. That's right. But he explained to those who are willing to listen just what that scene was.
Yes.
See, he explained to a group of individuals who were listening, who were attracted to him, that followed him. Remember, thousands followed him. Here is a situation that's occurring. Now here's the master being able to tell them just what's taking place. And why it's taking place. And what they are projecting is not true. Because Krishna is not there. Now tell me something. You have someone that's able to explain certain things to you to that extent. But you will not accept if you don't hear the same. And the truth will be right there. The truth was with the people who were drunk on the wine of carnal things, as well as the truth was with the people that was following him. But it was only a segment of the people that heard it. The drunk people didn't hear it because they were intoxicated. They were under illusion. And they didn't know that they were under illusion. So someone had to come that's not under an illusion to inform you that that's an illusion. He's not even there. We say Allah lives everywhere, yet he does not live in the noise of tongues.
Come on.
Listen what we say. Allah lives everywhere, yet he does not live in the noise of tongues. That's not a contradiction, that's a truth. So anyway, that's what we're talking about today. We're going to talk about a behavior pattern that's displayed for the purpose of giving instructions to people who are seekers of the truth and who have heard the sound. They heard something, so they followed it. They're trying to be with it. I hear something. Well, what I've heard is interesting enough to me that I want to hear something else. That's how the Prophet Noah, that's how he got us. We heard something that caused us, our curiosity, to be ignited to the point where I want to hear something else. What do you mean? But he's a master. He's a thought that put a thought in us that had us to think about the thought that he had put in us. What is a thought? You're not black. What you mean? Thinking. What? You cannot be black, colored, or Ethiopian. That thought, now here comes the thinking that's associated with that thought. Come on.
You know, Brother Lee, as you keep saying it the way you're saying it,
Yeah.
the thought that comes to my mind is that the thought is that seed
Yeah, Mo. That's the seed.
that's planted.
Yes. Yeah,
That
babe.
generates other thoughts.
Babe. It tells us in the first chapter. He planted a seed.
Yes.
The seed was planted, and from that seed, he became a living thinking.
Yes.
I'm thinking now. I'm but a seed. I'm planted. Now I become a living, and I'm thinking because that's one of my actions. That's what man became. He became a living. Prior to that, he was but a seed that held within himself the potency. But once he got planted, he grew apace, and he became a living.
Yes.
You see?
Right.
So that means the thought, now the thinking.
Yes.
So he planted that thought out.
Of course he
planted
did.
that thought.
Yes.
And in that thought, they are thoughts.
That's right. And look, and when he became a living, and he started thinking, he tore himself away.
Yes.
See? I mean, think about it. You were given the attributes. We have the potential of all the attributes of Almighty God within us. All of them. Didn't he say all?
Yes.
So it's in us. Come on.
No, so when he became a living and he tore himself away,
Yes.
he had the will.
Yes.
Right?
Well, is that willing one of the actions? Thinking, understanding, reasoning, willing. Okay, now. Prior to his becoming that, he was but a seed who was in harmony with the source from which he came. He was in harmony. But perfected man must do what? So he had to go through something. And that's why the choice, which was the present choice that man made, and his future happiness depends on the present choice. When he made that choice, you see what happened? And then a series of events took place. He left that plane and he went into the plane of things made manifest. And then what happened? A nature sprang forth that he was not even expecting. But now I got to deal with something that what? I created. I created it. So now what am I doing at this point? I'm learning the truth about myself. I'm coming into the realization and the acceptance that I'm a creator and I make my own. So how I learn about the teachings of Prophet Noble Drew Ali is solely dependent on the condition that I create. Because I must create the condition that's appropriate for my spiritual development and growth. No one can do that for me. I got to create that atmosphere that's associated with that condition so I can grow. Come on, man.
Samo, I've been hearing so many brothers and sisters losing faith.
Yeah.
Because of the situations that they're in.
Yes.
You know, God wouldn't let nobody, why he put me in this situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we create our own.
Yes.
But, you know, they lose faith in doing that.
Yes. Yes.
And this is what we talking about, with suicide,
Yeah.
all other kinds.
Yeah.
Destruction.
Yeah. Destruction.
They don't believe.
That's right. That's right.
We create our own.
That's right. That's right. But Moses, it's not the easiest thing to accept when we've been used to blaming people. Always finding an excuse for why we did what we did. See, each time you find an excuse, that's just a blame game. And unless you make serious mental adjustments, unless you really address the way you think or the thoughts that you hold, you will never accept the responsibility that you have in creating the condition that you're presently in. Come on.
And also I'm thinking about the conditions that you're creating and passing it on, what Brother Smith was talking about, losing faith.
Yeah.
I've been hearing that a lot too, especially with our children,
Yeah.
either committing crimes or
Yeah.
dying from crime.
Yeah.
But what we're instilling in them, we're not instilling proper things into our children.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
to give them a helping hand,
Yeah.
because we're not instilling it within ourselves
Yeah.
to exercise it, to demonstrate it, to teach it, and whatever needs to be done
Yeah.
and stuff. So we're losing faith, and we're not helping the next generation as they come.
Well, let's say those who are losing faith are losing faith.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Because all of us ain't losing faith.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us are gaining more faith. Okay. So, let's make sure we make that.
That's true. Those of us got to understand it.
Okay, come on.
Yes, ma'am. I was thinking earlier, when you speak about coming to this plane,
Yeah.
you know, man has to learn the truth about himself,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And then I was thinking back where we was taught
Yes.
different things
Yes.
in slavery,
Yes.
you know? And just think about mental slavery.
Yes.
We was taught not to think.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Prophets say, when I get you to think,
Yes.
you can say yourself.
Yeah.
He knew we could think.
Yeah.
But we accept those teachings
Yeah.
when they was teaching us not to think.
Yeah.
You don't even try to think.
That's right.
We'll think for you.
Yeah.
So now you're accustomed to not even trying to think.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now you can't even get yourself out of the situation like Bro Smith, they say we create conditions for ourselves,
Yeah.
but we ain't we can't see our way out. Why? Because we can't think.
We gotta lose everything. But think about this. I got you. Look, think about this though. We are thinking about the thoughts that they have given us to think about.
That's right, that's right.
And what are we doing? Creating conditions based off of their way of thinking.
Mhm. That's right.
So how can you think your way out? When you're sitting in a situation
Relying on them.
relying on them.
Their thought.
Their thought. It's because it's the thoughts that's coming from the way that we think based on the teachings that we accept.
And their thought is to keep you there.
It's no question. So you'll never be able to think your way out of that thought because that's not our way of thinking. That is the abnormal. That's abnormal for us. We're not that type of people. We don't think like that. Do you know how difficult it is for us to accept their way of thinking?
Yeah.
You know, we have to look what we give up to accept their way of thinking. It's totally opposite. We're fighting ourselves constantly because we don't think like that. Come on, yeah.
It's fine. Just hearing part of the conversation, where we're at right now, we don't want to take on the position that we're responsible for how other people accept these teachings. And what I mean by that is, yes, we have an obligation to share the information, and that's what we should do. But the prophet said this as well. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So we want to be mindful that we don't take on the burden, because that also will have us losing faith.
Oh, yes, no. Yeah.
If you think you're so responsible for another person,
Yeah.
and they could be our children,
Yeah.
but if we haven't created the atmosphere for their exposure to these teachings,
Yeah.
then it becomes part of their responsibility.
That's right.
You know,
Yeah. That's right.
we got to see to it that the atmosphere is set.
That's right.
But the acceptance got to come from within.
That's right. That's right. That's
You know?
right.
And you can only go so far. You pray for them.
That's right.
You know, you be an example.
That's right.
Because man needs a pattern.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
But they got to accept the pattern.
That's right. That's right, brother.
You know, and all we can do is pray to Allah because He knows better than we.
Ain't that the truth?
What their lifestyle is going to be, and what it can be. And what we need to do is just keep going. And I think you said it right. Those who are lost faith are lost faith.
Yeah.
Those who are not are striving.
Yeah.
They're striving to gain more strength to fight the good fight.
That's right. That's right.
Praise
So we
God.
wanna do that because then, you see, even when we see people going down a certain road,
Yeah,
let's remember this too. They have a chance to turn around.
and besides, you gotta reach your lowest depths
Yeah.
before you start to rebound.
It's when you gain the highest height.
That's right.
And we don't know what lowest depth is for
That's
each
right.
person. Each
That's
person
right.
that they own the lowest depth.
That's right. That's right. That's the truth. That's the truth. Yeah. Come on, Brother Harris, back.
You know, one thing, what thought that was coming to mind when you were speaking was courage.
Yeah.
See, the Bible calls on strong men and women.
Yes.
Sometimes we often think about strong men and women from a physical perspective,
Yes.
but it's gonna take strength
Yes.
to not continue to think the way the majority think.
Yeah.
It's gonna take courage to say that the way everyone else is thinking, if they're going down a certain path, that I'm not gonna go down that path and accept what comes with not going down that path.
Yeah.
Sometimes we so busy worrying about pleasing the masters
Yeah.
that we will accept the falsehood,
Yeah.
even though we have been introduced to the truth.
Yeah.
Because we're not ready to stand alone
Yeah.
and say, the prophets say do this. If they doing that, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
That's something you have, and you said something that was key. We have to challenge ourselves
Yeah.
to be willing to not allow ourselves to be sucked into that, whether it's family, friends, and anything else.
Yeah.
Because so often we just don't want to be by ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, you talking about when Jesus walked up in that wilderness, when John walked up in that marketplace, he was by himself,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he spoke.
Yeah.
And he accepted whatever came with it. Now, he had the ability to remove himself from it,
Yeah.
but he didn't worry about what they thought about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to go through well, they don't like me, because no,
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah.
Because if you standing on that which is right,
Yeah.
based on your understanding, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay if they don't like you.
Yeah.
Because you don't want nobody, ain't friends obtained by truth better than, enemies trained by truth better than friends obtained by flattery.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you ever have someone like you because you're dealing with falsehood all the time?
Yeah.
Or you want somebody to dislike you because you're standing for what's right?
Yeah.
So these are the things we have to wrestle with. And it's a self-examination that we have to go through within ourselves.
Peace. I got you. But let's pivot back to for a minute to what you said about Jesus and John.
Right.
And you said they were alone.
Well,
Oh, no. Physically they were,
yes.
but they had reached a certain degree of development where they recognized the cherubim and the seraph.
Praise God. You're right, sir. They always with us.
Yeah, they always. And see, they were at a developmental state where they could acknowledge their presence.
Yeah, okay, I know. Praise the Lord.
And it's the same thing that once we do what we are supposed to do,
Mhm.
we too will be able to acknowledge their presence.
Praise God.
Physically, the outside appearance is you by yourself.
Come on.
But for real, you're not.
Come on. All right. Praise God.
And we're not, but we have to learn to accept that we're not.
Right. And trust that that's
And
okay.
that's it.
I got you, sir. Praise God. Well said. Praise
Come on, Carl.
I had a thought, when we just talking about their teaching,
Yeah,
it was like their program,
yeah,
and the prophet came with his program.
yeah, yeah,
So we was just being reprogrammed.
yeah,
The prophet had a great program, out there for humanity.
yeah. See, and the difference in this program is that we're being taught to think for ourselves.
Come on.
See, the prophet is not, even though he's giving us the divine instructions, he's not saying, he's not trying to make us accept him. He's not trying to make us. I've never seen what a prophet say, you better, or accept for the law and says what we must do. But even at that, we are still given the option to make a choice.
That's right.
He never takes our choice away. And his instruction to us, he never takes our choice away. We always have a choice.
Yeah.
Come on here.
That's right. And just to add to that, when he tells us we must,
Yes,
he's telling you what is necessary for you to be saved.
yes, yes,
That must is for your salvation.
yes.
The
Yes.
must is not to hurt you. The must
That's right.
is to say, if you want to be saved, you must do it this way.
That's right.
Remember, there is only one true and divine way.
That's right.
I didn't see no whole lot of options.
That's right. That's right.
We're the one that created those things.
That's
and we felt were obstacles.
That's right.
The ladder of salvation goes one way,
That's right.
from the heart of man to the heart of honor.
That's right. That's right.
They don't hold my double ladder.
That's right. That's right.
Mm.
That's right. That's right. One way.
That's right.
There's no shortcuts in the back door.
No. 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 Not with this. Ain't but one way with this.
That's it. That's it.
See, either you are or you're not. And if you're not, then you should have enough courage to say, I'm just not ready yet. I've had some to say that when they were extending an opportunity to advance. And if we step to them and they say, boy, I'm just not ready yet. Don't you know how much respect you have to give to a person that just honestly say, I'm just not ready yet? I hope to be, but at this time, I'm just not ready yet. Instead of going to a person, extending them something, yeah, sure, right now, come on.
That's good.
What took you so long?
Yeah, I was waiting, I was ready the other day. Yeah, but I'm saying all that to say,
That's good.
as we start to grow, as we start to develop, as we start to ascend, we will start to see things that at this point has not been made available to us. But for you to be exposed to the degree that is appropriate for your advancement, you must be sincerely practicing what you must be doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You can't jump steps. You can't. Yeah.
I was thinking as far as jumping steps,
Yeah.
to accept the program
Yeah.
that the prophet brought,
Yeah.
you first must have to be deprogrammed.
Yeah. That's right.
You gotta
That's right.
deprogram
That's right. That's right.
before you can reprogram.
That's right.
You
That's
know,
right.
see, a lot of times people think you just accept it and put it on top of all the other stuff you got and it don't work. You can't
That's
mix
right.
it.
That's right. That's right.
So you gotta deprogram, get rid of all that you've been taught
Yeah.
and accept it.
Yeah.
And then reprogram.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, man.
So I was just thinking, and I was thinking long and hard. You know, we've been here before.
Yeah.
Before slavery.
That's right.
Papa took all excuses with it. You know, sometimes we use slavery as a metaphor, like why we do things.
Yeah.
Or why we rebel against certain things.
Yeah.
You know, like your brother said, we've been programmed for 1779 to 1865, we was programmed. So the prophet came on the scene to bring us back to where we was at first. We was kings and queens, we ruled.
That's right, man.
You know, so
Yes.
we talk about slavery a lot, but what we were before that,
Come on.
you know? So, and that's why the prophet is here, to bring us back.
Yeah.
You know, to lead us back
Yeah.
to where we were before.
Yeah. Now remember now, keep this in mind, that we were slaves before 1779, before we came here. Some of us were enslaved by our own people. You know? See, because why? We were still sinful and disobedient there. There are no happiness. All governs all events. You know, it's not strange that we were captured and brought over here. If we go back into our history, we'll find out that over there we tore ourselves away from God.
That's right. Come on. So I behave.
This was a part of it. You so sinful and disobedient, I tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to put you on the ship, send you someplace else. But that wasn't done unjustly because law governs all events.
Yeah.
That was, we violated laws. And there are consequences to disobedience. We may not see the extent of it because we're focusing on our enslavement here. But some of us was enslaved there.
And put people in slavery.
Come on, Mo. Ain't it Mo? Mo.
We was slave
Come on, Mo. You better know it. You better know it. Come on, Mo.
And that's why he can say through sin and disobedience.
Every
nation.
Yes.
You know, through sin and disobedience. We
Yes.
created the conditions
Yeah.
that we find ourselves
Yeah.
in based on the behavior way before we got here.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, and yes.
Babe, that's the
You know what, babe, I gotta say this. They say our read one time, it say they learned how to do it from us.
Yeah,
Because we even did them.
yeah.
We was masters at it.
Yeah.
And then when they put the money in play, all school was out there.
Yeah. You know, read about some of those African tribes that many of us came from.
Exactly.
Think about what we did.
And
Come on, Evan.
think about what the prophet said. We once ruled the world.
Come on.
Yes.
Get ready to go back and do it again.
But
He
this
said
time,
this time.
that's right, my brother.
See, if we wasn't using the principle then, you know what we would use.
That's right.
We would rule the world without principle.
That's right, without principle.
That means we had no rule and there was no limit to what we would do.
That's right. That's right. That's
All
right.
we gotta do is put this together based on how he is giving it to us.
That's
He's
right.
trying to show us ourselves
That's right.
from the time that we did manifest.
That's
And even before that, for the thought that we held that got us here.
That's right. That's right. That's right, bro.
Mm.
That's right. Come on.
It's no, where he said it was his quotes that our own brothers who put us in slavery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The prophet said that.
Yeah.
If you're not careful.
Yeah. Come on, Mom.
Islam. The lesson that we getting ready to go into, the people are enslaved. They
That's right.
enslaved. Their minds are caught up. You know, they enslaved now.
That's right.
Mhm.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Okay, now we'll proceed. Chapter 8. Jesus reveals to the people of their what kind of ways? Sinful ways. And that's what we talk about.
Yeah.
In all the cities of Arissa, Jesus taught. At Ketak, by the riverside, he taught, and thousands of the people followed him. One day, a car of Jabanoth was hauled along by scores of frenzied men, and Jesus said, "Behold, a form without a spirit passes by, a body with no soul, a temple with no altar fire. This car of Krishna is an empty thing, for Krishna is not there. This car is but an idol of a people drunk on wine of carnal things. Allah lives not in the noise of tongues. There is no way to him from any idle shrine. Allah's meeting place with man is in the heart, and in a still small voice he speaks, and he who hears is still." What's important in that statement? Here. He who hears is what?
Still.
He must be still, because the voice is what?
Still.
It's a still, small voice. So how do you enter into your stillness? How do you enter into the condition? How do you create the condition of stillness so that you can hear? Yeah, be still. Yeah, come on now.
Try to avoid having a lot of noise in your head as you travel, so that you can, and controlling your weaknesses, getting control of your weaknesses and things that have prevented you from hearing the voice, and having a lot of noise, things that are not really helpful, so that it can come in. Because sometimes we have so much going on in us, it can't penetrate, because we're not really, they can penetrate, but we're not really listening, because we really walk around like a ball of confusion. Outwardly, we look right, we look prepared. Inwardly, we got so much going on in us, it's not able to come in and speak to us, or we're not able to accept it.
Come on.
It's safe to say you examine your heart,
Well, I think it's safe to say.
heart examination,
Yeah, heart examination.
heart examination, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, no.
Okay. Come on, Brother Shivaliyah.
Reflect on the teachings.
Huh? Reflect on the teachings. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
All that's meditation and the components that cause meditation.
Okay. All right. Come on, Mom.
Yeah, the tendency.
see your hand?
Oh, no, he answered.
Okay. All right. Who's that? It's on.
It's I mean, everybody's way to be still may be different. You know, some people like to listen to soothing music, go on walks or something like that. But the way that, like Jesus is saying, when you say the only way you're gonna really hear, you gotta separate yourself from chaos too as well.
Yeah.
Because you can't really focus on hearing a still small voice if you watching the Washington Commanders at the time. You can holler, you know, stuff like that. So you have to go to your quiet place.
Yeah.
Whatever your quiet place is, go there so you can meditate on, your own thoughts and meditate on the teachings.
That's good. That's great. Because the game stillness, you must address the thoughts that you hold.
Right.
What kind of thoughts am I holding in my heart? See, I can give you a physical appearance of being still and quiet.
That's right.
But my heart's thoughts are noisy.
That's right.
And that noise prevents me from hearing the sound.
That's right.
So I got to first address my thoughts. I got to get them straight so I can hear. Because these other thoughts, they're being conjured up by that other part of me. I can be trying to get still, and I can all of a sudden here come a thought of something that I saw a year ago.
That's right. That's real.
2 years ago. An experience that I had when I was a little child. That will take you away from your stillness. So we gotta learn the art.
That's what it is.
Yeah, we gotta learn the art.
Yeah, we gotta practice this science.
Yes.
And you hit on it, Brother Van See, it is the thoughts that you're holding.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's why we have to purify ourselves. Because that gets those worldly thoughts out of us.
Yeah.
So it's not so dominant. They may not go nowhere, but you can suppress it.
Yeah. Yeah.
When we're trying to hear a still small voice,
Yes.
we got to suppress that other nature.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
And that comes from practice.
Yes.
I know a lot of times, we even us who've been in the temple for a moment,
Yes.
we may think that we have, that Allah is speaking to me.
Yes.
I'll be careful with that.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
You gotta make sure that you are developing yourself to that stage.
Yes.
He will send those to you. He will send people to you to say things.
Yeah.
But if you practice it, then you can hear some of it.
Yes. Yes.
And we're listening for that sound. It's just like hearing the prophets, the sound of the prophet's voice, not the words,
Yeah.
the sound.
The sound. Yeah. Yeah.
And that takes practice,
Yeah. It does.
you know? You say that you hear that still small voice, and I know sometimes we say it in here, you know? We just want to make sure that we're practicing to set the and unfold into a point
Yes.
that we really are hearing our voice.
Yes. Yes.
And it has to have a cleansing going on inside of you.
Yes.
That those thoughts that you're holding
Yes.
are the ones that are on a hot thought.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not going to come in there when you got a whole lot of other stuff going on.
Yes. Yes. That's right. Shalane. That's right. Brother, Shalane.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I was thinking, what can do good can also do harm.
Okay.
And earlier we were speaking about, we was taught not to think. And this is an instance where you use that.
Yeah.
Not to think.
Uh-huh.
Think about the word and all that other stuff.
Okay.
Like Brother J.C. was talking about. Stop thinking about that.
Yeah.
Because when we think about still, we think about stop moving.
Yeah.
So that's what you do.
Yeah.
Stop that thinking.
Yeah.
Still your thinking.
Yeah.
On Allah. And what He's trying to say to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like Brother Bella said, you can't hear when you moving.
Yeah.
And even like you say in your heart, stuff going so fast,
Yeah.
you can't hear.
Yeah.
So you gotta stop that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can hear.
Okay, wait a minute. Boy, come on, brother, talk to you.
I just think of more, in a few chapters, Jesus was around certain atmospheres that may help in a mental condition, like and this one he down by the riverside. Another one he by a flowing spring. You know, so maybe a body of water is conducive to one learning or being still. You know, because after all, it is the spirit of the water.
Okay, okay. That's a good thought. That's a good thought. Come on, brother. Yes,
Yes, brother, in more respect.
yes, sir.
First and foremost, this is a beautiful topic because it's one that I thought about a lot. Because you know, just being honest, I don't know if I ever heard it.
I hear you, Lord.
Praise God.
But what I do know is that when I'm acting according to the teachings of the prophet,
Yeah,
when I'm trying to be obedient to Allah,
yeah,
and I do know that Allah is justice, mercy, love, and right.
yeah,
And that when I'm doing right, and I'm, you know, and certain thoughts come to me,
yeah.
and it says, brother, you know you're not supposed to be doing that. I don't know if it's Allah or not, but I know that's the information that I received from the prophet to tell me that I'm not supposed to do that.
Right,
That's coming to me, but I don't know if that's still a small voice or not.
right.
But like I said, this is a beautiful topic, and you know, stuff like that. I want to know how I can get better in certain areas, or how I can you know, correct my thoughts or straighten my thoughts out and things like that. So this is a beautiful topic, you know, and I like to hear from different people because I want to implement that in my life.
Right.
Praise God.
Come on.
Yes, the prophet say, if thou must hear without thy passion.
Okay, okay.
You don't want to be all upset when you're trying to hear. You don't eat emotions. You know, you got to get rid of those emotions and you know, still yourself
Right.
and reflect. Reflect on the thought. And the thought will give you a certain peace of mind where it will calm your nerves.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, okay. Come on, buddy.
You know, one of those, and I could hear what the brother was saying. I was thinking, the other day I was looking at something. You know, sometimes we be using these teachings and we don't really recognize that we're using them
Right,
because we haven't took the time to look up the word or just to see what the word really means.
right,
And one of the words that jumped out at me was resolution.
right.
You know, sometimes we be practicing resolution in our daily lives, but we don't identify because we haven't identified the meaning of resolution.
Right,
A strong determination, you know, something of that magnitude.
right,
Whenever you fight against yourself to do something,
right,
that's a sign of resolution,
right.
you know. But also, Brother Lee, I just was thinking, you know, I often hear people say that someone wasn't thinking.
Right,
And I often say, you know, the Koran teaches us that every creature thinks.
right,
Every creature has the will to choose.
right,
Now, that does not mean that, and I've said to myself, they are thinking,
right,
because we were thinking
right,
when we was in darkness.
right,
But it's what we're thinking about.
right,
See, you never stop thinking,
right,
because you never stop creating.
right.
So I often hear people say, well, they ain't thinking. Oh, yes, they is. Yes, they is. Don't ever underestimate it. Because they are thinking. The question is, what are they thinking about?
Right.
And how are they thinking?
Right.
So that's something that always jumped out at me when I see people. And it didn't always come to me at first, but I just say, yeah, I'm thinking.
Right.
But I'm what I'm thinking about.
Right.
And then the result is, I'm wasting my thinking
Right.
because the results don't always be favorable the way I should be used to, the way it should be used to think. The things I should be using my thinking for, I'm not using it for.
Yeah.
You know,
The thought
right,
that's dominant
yes,
is what you're thinking about.
yes, and it's non-productive.
Right. So whatever thought that's the most dominant thought,
Right,
you're thinking about it.
yes,
The thinking may be incorrect
Yeah.
because the thought you're holding may be incorrect.
come on,
But you're right. We're always thinking because we're thoughts.
that's what it's all about.
And a thought thinks.
You better believe it.
Thoughts. Come on.
To be able to accept what the prophet brought me, to understand of my higher self, my lower self. These are two things that is going to be probably, well, I ain't going to say going to be, are permanent in man's life because man has been introduced to his lower self. And he has installed in him. So as far as him saying he's going to get away from that, you can't get away from that. Prophet said these are in your life forever. These are the understanding. he that understands that you must know about these two spirits, Mo. And that's what he
More, if you say they're in your life forever, you've given them equal. You make
No.
them equal.
No, but you gotta accept, Mo,
More.
that you gonna
How
have
can you
those
make
thoughts.
truth and falsehood equal?
You gonna have those
More,
thoughts, Mo.
how can you make truth and falsehood equal when falsehood is a reflection of the one?
But I'm just explaining how the falsehood is in you.
Okay, come on here.
It's fine. To the thought of, I mean, what we were talking about, all creatures think and have a will.
Right,
The difference between man
right,
and the other thinking things
right,
is that man has reason.
right,
That's the difference.
right.
Those other creatures don't have the ability to reason.
Right.
I didn't give them that.
Right.
So just hold that part of it. The other thing I wanted to mention
Right.
is this, and this is where we have to do, we're developing too.
Right.
Because in many parts of this conversation, we talked about the noise
Right.
and things going on.
Right.
That's why purity is so important for us,
Right.
because purity gets those things out of us.
Right.
And what we know, look at John and Jesus. They became masterminds.
Right.
They were able to still deal with things with all the noise and confusion all around them.
Mm.
We will develop to that point.
That's right.
So when we don't, what I'm trying to say is this. And you talked about, when I first came up here, you talked about the attributes.
Right.
We have the attributes of our innocence.
Right.
We, in order to be the masters of this plane of things made manifest, which we are the Lord's of,
Right.
we will be able to contain it and control certain things, even in the midst of all the noise.
Right. Right. Right.
And we have to use the higher self in us to do it.
Right. Right.
To control the winds, the waves, all those other spirits when they're going on, to do certain things as a master, we got to do it even through the noise.
Right.
But the noise is not supposed to be in you.
Right. Right. Right.
And that's what he's teaching us to
Isn't
do.
that the key?
Yes.
The noise being in you.
Yes.
We can't look outside. No, we ain't
Exactly.
gotta worry about that.
That's right.
But what about you?
Yeah.
Come on.
You know, that's the key.
That's the master.
Yeah.
The master is you inside.
And the master is you inside.
Yes.
Come on.
Islam, one of the chief characteristics of stillness is that it has a constant tone. And anything that is frenzy will disrupt or interrupt that tone.
Yes.
So it's the same principle of holding two cans on a tight string.
Yes.
If you interfere with the vibration, you disrupt the constant tone.
Yeah.
You cannot be frenzied
Right.
or in an excited state,
Right.
as we learn from the manic law.
Right.
Passions that are extreme to one end or the other,
Right.
in order to hear the still voice of Allah.
Right.
His language
Right.
is given peacefully as a conversation of love, especially in this case.
Right.
Jesus is looking on a scene of men
Right.
who are practicing a sinful way of trying to express their worship,
Right.
but it's coming from the outside.
That's right.
Spirit consciousness can only be developed from the inside.
That's right.
Please.
That's right. Exactly. That's right. Come on.
That's, prophet of Noah, he told us, learn of your higher self and your lower self.
Okay.
That's my main, learning them too. Then I be able to distinct between what spirit is telling me without, if I'm constantly studying me and reflecting on me, I'm learning about me.
Yeah.
The higher self and the lower self, and I be able to distinguish,
That's right. That's right. And remember, in the light of all things are normal. What happens to Noah? It goes down. Down. And now man is what? Truth abides. that falsehood it no longer exists.
That's it. That's it.
Because evil is just an illusion.
That's right.
That's why they can't be evil.
They never.
They can't be evil.
They can never.
Because one has a beginning
And the
other has an end.
and the other is everlasting.
It goes on to say, Allah's meeting place with man is in the heart, and in a still small voice he speaks, and he who hears is still. Now, look what happened. Not with some of the people, but all of the people. They heard something. Look what just transpired. He said, and all the people said. He didn't say a few of them. All of them. He said all of them. So what he said was enough to arouse a certain thought in those people. And all of them said, teach us to know the Holy One who speaks within the heart. Come on. Allah of the still small voice. Now just think about it. All of a sudden, or you're in the midst of people, and all of them, once you make a statement, all of them, curiosity has been aroused to ask you, well, look, tell me something about that.
Mhm.
Come on.
Every word I speak
That's right.
is spirit.
That's right.
And he more than better he.
That's right.
And the words he speak was not of his own accord.
That's right.
That was the words of Allah.
That's right.
And that spirit could resonate.
That's
And
right.
touch other spirits.
That's right.
To see.
That's
to
right.
just even, just the light gets
That's
shot.
right. That's right.
Like the prophet gave us the shock.
Yeah.
Just to, not to say unfold,
Yeah.
but just to shock it.
Yeah.
To say, wait a minute, what are you saying?
Yeah.
So that's the way at this particular time.
Look, that word, and when he, and like what Brother Falcon Bay was saying, they were, even the people that were, but when he said all the people, he included the people that was in a frenzy state too. So, I mean, to be able to say something, to bring order,
Yes, yes.
where a statement can be made in that condition of order that's in unison with everybody. They heard it. That has to be a powerful statement coming from someone that can get everybody's attention. Come on.
Islam, prophet also say that all of us are bound by cords that every other living thing.
Yeah, yeah,
And what Jesus said, it
Yeah.
struck the cord that,
yeah,
you know, said that
Yeah.
unites all of us.
Yeah.
That's why they just stopped them like
yeah,
that tone, that certain vibration,
Yeah.
what he said, hit that cord.
yeah, yeah. I was just saying about it. I said, wow, you know, to be able to say in the midst of all that, and they hear you.
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
They hear you. Come on.
His tongue
Yes.
had been taken over by the precedence of his words,
Yeah.
works, and deeds.
Yes.
He had qualified his spirit
Yes.
to be
Man. Yes.
proven
Yes.
as the voice of Allah.
Yes.
He spoke
Yes.
love
Yes. Yes.
through a lesson that was correcting a sinful way.
Yes.
Their interest was sparked by the desire to want to change
Yeah.
based on the example
Yeah.
he gave.
Yeah. 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 That's a good one. That, yeah. I can hear that. I can hear that. I can hear that. Because we're talking about someone that thousands of people follow him.
That's that's it.
He had influence all day, you know. Yeah. That's good. No observation. Yeah.
He had, his words wasn't empty. Because from his word, he only could speak the word that he was living himself.
Yeah.
And it's power in those words.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you live in them, if you strive to live in yourself,
Yeah.
they will resonate.
Yeah. Okay. It goes on to say, and Jesus said, the holy breath, now look who he's referring to Allah as. The holy breath. It's saying the Holy Breath. Look, he said, teach us to know the Holy One. And now he comes and refers to it as the Holy Breath. Because now he's responding. He's saying the Holy Breath after they say the Holy One. So you see the interchangeable acknowledgement of the Spirit. We're identifying the Spirit from different points of view. The Holy One, the Holy Breath. It says, teach us, I'm sorry. It says, and people say, teach us to know the Holy One who speaks within the heart. Allah. Look, the Holy One that speaks within the heart. Who? Allah. So I'm saying, listen how he's teaching us the different names of our Father. And how we can call on our Father. Because he's teaching us that it's not just one name that identifies God. He's known by many names. But if you hear the sound of God, you can identify him by whatever name he may be called.
That's right. Because it's the truth.
He's the truth. That's right. That's right. Come on, dude.
Also, it looks like that the people are still identifying Allah as something you could see with multiple eyes.
Yes.
When they say the Holy,
Yes.
and he switched it up.
Yes, he's showing. That's right.
That's
right.
You know, by calling Holy Breath.
That's right. That's right. Look, and then he goes on to say, yes, he says, and Jesus said, the Holy Breath cannot be seen with what? Now, he didn't say it can't be seen.
Right.
He said it can't be seen with mortal eyes.
Come on.
With these, you can't see him. But who's to say that you can't see him when you are given the opportunity to do so when we have to stand before the throne?
Mm-hmm.
Now, they say, in some of the documents that I read, that he's so bright that you can't look at him. The light is so intense that you can't look, you don't look into the face of him.
Maybe that's why you're supposed to bow down thyself.
That's what he said. Did he say that? Bow down thyself and humble and what? Submissive.
Obedience.
Okay. It goes on to say, the Holy Breath cannot be seen with mortal eyes, nor can men see what?
Spirit.
The Spirit
Come on.
of the Holy One. Nor can men see the Spirit of the Holy One. But in their image, listen, in their image. That's the question. The question should be, what do you mean there? When Allah is one. But in their image, man was what?
Made.
But who made you? What are they saying? What does that mean? Does not that cause you to think about something else? Think about it. But in their image, man was made. And he who looks into the face of man looks at the image of Allah. The image constituted there. He was made in their image. You look into the face of man, you see their image. But yet, they say, he who looks in the face of man looks at the image of Allah. Now that should cause some type of thinking. Because it's taking you to another level.
The word there.
Yeah, it's taking you to another level. It's giving you an opportunity to look at it from a different point of view. Yet, because now, my question would be, how can it say there when we saying he's one? We got to have a conversation. Based on there, which means more than one, or just one. All things are one. But he's revealing another part of Allah to us.
And that's why you can see where he said you cannot circumscribe.
Yeah. And that circumscribing
It's limited, putting them in a box. Like, this is the way it is.
But I got to be able to stand on the fact that he's one.
Right, I understand.
But I'm being told here that Jesus is speaking about being made in their image. But I have to be able to support he's one.
Right.
I got to be able to identify what you mean, their image.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
As opposed to more than one.
Yeah, more. You're gonna be asked questions about this. You've been told to be scholars yourself.
That's right.
And in the scholarly settings, you're gonna be asked questions.
Yeah.
You can't be up there acting like you know when you don't. You must give some thought to these things that cannot be circumscribed, so that you can be able to be introduced to what can't be seen. That's if you want to know.
Praise the Lord.
This ain't just no preparing you to just have a general conversation. You're going to be sitting before this. Some of you are going to be sitting before masters. Those who will be given the opportunity and the privilege to do so. Those who will advance in their thinking. Because of your practice. You're going to be sitting and discussing the work, and the words of God. Some of you are going to be extended that opportunity. You got to apply yourself. You don't want to make you want your face to be ashamed in the midst of those who know for real. That's where we at. Then you coming in here for. That's not coming in here for you all just have a general conversation with me all the time.
Praise the Lord.
You do this the way you're supposed to do it, you're going places. You're ascending. And that's going to attribute to help you in your salvation.
The delivery got to be on point with those who know.
You got to be on point.
You
got to be real.
Yeah, but you deliver.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. Peace.
Peace.
Islam.
Yeah, because I think when they do
I want to give honor thanks for God Jones being the moderator. Northside Central America. We had a good Sunday school, as we always do. So I want to, at this time, I want to call each have base grand governor of the District of Columbia.
Islam. First, I give praise to Allah, Prophet Noble I give honor to each and every one of you. I give honor to everything Prophet Noble has brought for the uplifting and fall of humanity. Prophet warns all models, governors, ordered to read proclamation in each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while they work in their homes or on the street. We offer peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards of European and causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We offer love, truth, peace, and freedom. And when these principles are violated, justice then must take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive a reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card button, cease wearing their turban or fez, and return to the state where the prophet found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet therefore is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sins by order of prophet knows who I live. Peace.
It's not. Now we're going to another
Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, through I live. Amen.